Did you know you can get on our show by calling us at 323-521-9791? If this episode impacts your day, we want to know. Call 323-521-9791 and leave us a voicemail with your testimony so we can share it with our guests and listeners around the world. As a struggling 25-year-old actor and model, Eric Bigger was going through some tough times and the lowest times of his life.
I didn't know how I was going to eat. And I remember Christmas that year, I think it was 2013, I had $7 to my name. And I actually had a girl from San Francisco come up who wanted to kind of come hang out and kick it. You know, my roommate had brought his whole family in town, 7 people in a 1-bedroom apartment. I got this girl who wanted to come kick it, have a good time, hang out. I don't have no money. I don't know what to tell her. I can't get a hotel. And it was tough, man, and I'll never forget that moment. In that year, too, I remember, like, my roommate, he was booking, like, all these modeling gigs. He was killing it. And he had put some food in the trash can, and I think it was, like, some chicken or something. He didn't eat it all. And I actually grabbed it out of the trash can and started eating. I never told him until, like, 2 years after the fact, but it was a low point in my life. And, you know, a lot of people don't know that story, and it's tough, but it was real. And it was just one of those things, you'd be like, damn, how did I get here? What did I do wrong? I went to school, I did right, I was educated, I followed directions, I didn't get in trouble. Why am I here?
From pray.com, this is Life, Leadership, and Legacy. Every week, we give you the stories, values, and actions driving the world's most passionate leaders. On this podcast, we'll hear about the lives of pray.com's most devoted leaders. Listen to the experiences that have shaped their life, the mistakes they've made, and how they've learned to fulfill their destiny while leaving a legacy of helping others. On episode 1 of this 3-part series, Eric Bigger tells us what it was like growing up in Baltimore. We learn what it was like taking care of his family as a young kid, losing his friends to violence, having faith in the right things, and learning how to follow his heart.
Hey guys, I'm Eric Bigger. I'm from Baltimore, Maryland. Ooh, do anybody know about Baltimore? Baltimore is a tough city. Maybe you've seen The Wire. The Wire was pretty intense the years it was on TV. Baltimore is The Wire times 3. Pretty intense, pretty challenging, a tough area to live in, grow up in. But you know, basketball was my passion. Basketball was my love. Basketball was my girlfriend. Basketball was everything. And, you know, growing up in the city of Baltimore, you know, didn't grow up poor, but the circumstances were poor. You know, the environment, the energies, the circumstance, like everything about it was just, it was tough, you know. You know, my mom and dad was there, but I never in my life seen my mom or dad together. You know, what I suffered the most growing up as a child was emotional abandonment. Like, my parents was there, you know, they took care of me, they bought me clothes, I had food, I went to school, but emotionally there was no intimacy. There was no, how's your day, son? I love you. How are you? Like, there was just no, you know, I was a very responsible kid. So it was tough, you know, but basketball gave me life, basketball gave me joy, basketball gave me something to give my energy to. And, you know, my whole life, my dream was to play in the NBA. I wanted to go pro. I wanted to do it big. So blood, sweat, and tears, you know, basketball gave me my identity. And what people don't know is that I tell parents to this day that use sports as a platform to get the kid to the next level and don't allow the sport to use the kid. And so for me, that's what basketball was. It was a vehicle to get me to where I had to go in life. You know, it took me through my early years to high school, to college. I played, you know, 4 years, you know, in school. And, you know, I'll take you guys back before I move to my LA story. You know, the men in my family were kingpins. They ran the neighborhood. They were the drug dealers. You know, I grew up around, you know, kingpins and killers. And when I was 15, I'll never forget, I said, you know what? My dad, my uncle, my cousin, they made a lot of money in the streets, but I also saw their downfalls. I saw their mistakes. I saw the backlash, the resistance. And the stuff, it caused the family and it caused myself. And I made it up in my mind that, you know, no matter what it takes, I'm going to do everything the right way to make all the money to provide for myself and my family. You know, I was the only man in the house for a long time because my dad, my uncle, they were in the streets. My dad was a provider and not a guider. So I didn't have guidance growing up. I was self-taught. I read so many books. I was so curious. And I think the turning point for me in my life, if I can be honest, was, I remember when I was 17, was prayer. I was sitting in the bed. I don't know, something just came over me where you just gotta pray, you gotta pray, and you pray. And I'm like, and every night before I went to bed, it was like someone was forcing me to pray. I'll be tired, I'll be sleeping. And someone's like, you gotta pray. I didn't grow up in the church. I wasn't forced to go to church. My mom and dad would talk about the Bible, and you go to church on Easter Sunday. But my spiritual side has grown over the years, and I count to everything I've done in life and everything I've been through, prayer has got me through it. And I'm big on, faith. My dad always say, son, religion is great, but it's all about the relationship with higher power. And prayer has really been my anchor. It's been the thing that I hold on to, ups and downs, good and bad. And I tell people, all the time that you have to find something to grab on to outside of yourself that's bigger than you. And growing up in a tough neighborhood of Baltimore City where friends getting killed, friends going to jail, it's tough, your environment. So you grow up with this hard exterior. I gotta be this guy. I can't cry. I gotta take care of home. I gotta take care of my mom. And I won't even say financially I was taking care of the women in my family, my mom, my sisters, but emotionally I had to be strong, protect them and just make sure they was okay. Take the trash out. I did good in school, so I wanted to make them proud. And the tough thing was, I was so good in school to a point where everybody in that environment got attention from being bad, getting arrested, getting in trouble in school, where I was doing good the whole time. I didn't get the attention I was looking for because I was responsible, I was a good kid, I had no problems. And I still wanted the love and attention that all bad kids got. But to make a long story short, man, life in Baltimore City was good, and it was challenging because you didn't know what to expect. Late at night, you gotta look behind your back, you gotta look around. You're nervous when you go out at night. You don't know who to trust. Then at some point, my uncle got arrested. He's now doing 50 years in prison. For attempt murder. And I was his nephew. I did everything. And I put the weapons up. I counted the money. I hid the drugs. I was the one he trusted, but no one would have known, I'm Eric, I'm his nephew. I had 2 phones at one point where I'm calling him, 3-way, he's calling me from jail just to call people for him. So to make a long story short, I really didn't have a childhood. I grew up really fast. I was a man before I was a boy. And as I got older, I started realizing damn, the little boy inside of me never really got to be alive and never really got to experience what a child was like. I had responsibilities at a young age where I had to be a man and take care of everything in front of me and behind me and around me and be strong. So I was carrying a lot of burdens and a lot of weight that I didn't know. And, when you growing up at that time, from 15 to 19, you're not thinking about, oh, life is hard, this is challenging, this is tough. This is my life. This is what's normal. And it wasn't until, as I got older, I came to LA. I graduated from college, 2010 Hampton University, and the first person that sat me down post-college was my dad. And my dad said, son, you know what? You shouldn't be here in Baltimore. And mind you, my dad never gave me advice. He's just he'd take me to practice, he bought me Jordans and sneakers and video games. He never really took that time out and spent quality time with me. And he was like, I think you should go to LA. I'm like, LA? Okay, Dad. I already wanted to go to LA just for a graduation gift for myself. I want to go out of, I want to travel. I want to go to the West Coast. So from there, I talked to a friend's mom who was giving me a graduation gift for graduating from college. She's like, you know what, Eric? You should go to Los Angeles. You should go to LA. And I'm like, okay. Mind you, these 2 people don't know each other. Why would I go to LA? So I'm a type of person who I'm big on my intuition. I follow my heart. I listen to my gut. And I went back to my college, my university. I cleaned out my apartment. I literally applied for a job. LA sports marketing. I know I wanted to work in the sports industry, something of that matter. I mean, I'm 22. What do I know? I applied. Within 2 hours of submitting my application, I get an email. Okay, Mr. Bricker, we would love to interview you. June 7th. I'm like, I'm like, wow. I said, you know what? Honestly, I'm still in, Baltimore. I was in Baltimore at the time. After I applied, I went back to Baltimore. I had a graduation party June 12th. I bought a one-way ticket. I had $1,000 in my name, and I left. And I told him, I said, I'll see you next week. And so 12th was the day I got in town. I think I had the interview like on the 15th of June. I had a cousin who was a travel agent. She booked me a one-way. The $1,000 was all I had. And the first few weeks, I was looking for a spot. I stayed with my friend, Nick the barber. He was a celebrity barber out here in LA. He cut a lot of celebrities here. I think he's back in Maryland now, but him and his wife let me stay with them for 2 weeks. From there, I went to it's now One Oak in LA, but it used to be the Key Club. They used to have R&B live out here on Sunset, and I went with a friend of mine that I met through a family member who ran a comedy club out here. His name is Big Spike. And I'm in there, and then there's a girl that walked past. I'm like, hold up, I know her. And that person happened to be Aisha Cole. Everybody knows her as Pinky. She's like a guardian angel. Like, she's like saved my life. She's like, you know what? Where you staying? What are you doing? She's like, I'm going back to Atlanta for a Greek picnic. You can hold my car. Do this, do that. I'm like, okay. She let me stay at her spot for after I stayed with my, friend Nick for 2 weeks. And I stayed at her spot for 3 days. And within those 3 days, her landlord said, you got to go. You gotta get out. Like, you can't be here. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, your name is not on the lease. I don't know who you are. And I was like, huh? So from there, she helped me find a spot on Craigslist. Within that day or so, I already slept in her car for almost, that night. So I found a spot. And she found me a spot on Craigslist. I remember like yesterday, she called me. And at this time, she was kind of like my assistant, my manager, my big sister. She was everything. She sent me to Central Casting. She said, look, go to Central Casting. You need to do background acting because you can make some money. I'm like, okay. Make a long story short, I booked a gig on Central Casting. I was a stand-in for Deron Williams. I don't know if people know Deron Williams when he was on the Utah Jazz. It was Deron Williams, Kevin Love, and Dwight Howard. So I was getting paid like $200 a day. That was a blessing. But I still, out of the $1,000 that I had to give up $750 to the person I moved in with. His name is Mustafa. He lived in a place, a nice, okay place in North Hollywood, an apartment. I slept on his couch for a year and paid him $500 a month for rent. And he was a limo driver. He'd always say, "What up, buddy?" I was like, "What up, man?" And he was cool. And from there, I just figured life out, man. I was just like, 22. I come out here. I got a 3.6 GPA, mega cum laude. I'm thinking, I'm about to kill it. I still didn't have a job. I was doing background acting, but I didn't have a job. Background acting was helping a little bit, but I was like, I need to get a job. I applied everywhere, to the ESPNs, to the Fox, to all the high fashion stores, to all the hotels. I'm like, the clubs. I'm like, I need a job. And the only, place that gave me an opportunity was Chic Shoes. Chic Shoes is an urban, shoe store place that sells sneakers and hats and shirts. And I was making $8 an hour. Man, you know how humbling that was? At 22, with a college degree, to work at a shoe store as a salesman making $8 an hour. So that humbled me real quick. I was like, okay, I get on my feet. And another turning point in that first year I was out here was, books. I was so curious. I had to seek some wisdom. I'm reading Proverbs every day and, getting all this information from the Bible. But, I came across books like The Secret, Think and Grow Rich, and those two books literally changed my life. And I think it was the rules that was in Think and Grow Rich. I was writing down my goals and I was saying my affirmations and I was believing in it. And next thing you know, a shift happened. Within 6 to 8 months at the job, within being in LA, I started making commission. At work. I actually got an opportunity where some managers from Abercrombie & Fitch was trying to recruit me. They recruited me when I was at the job. So from there, fast forward July of 2011. Yep. I quit Chic Shoes and I went to be a manager at an assistant manager at Abercrombie & Fitch, where I'm like, oh man, I got a good job, I got benefits, I'm getting paid more money. The funny thing is, the background stuff kind of low key took off. I had did a Genio turkey burger commercial, and I was getting paid $8 an hour on set. And you know how those documentary, visualize a documentary type of style commercial where everyone is trying out burgers and they're eating and they're interviewing everybody. So I was one of the guys they interviewed. Like, hey, how you doing? And I was like, oh, I'm on my third one right now and it's awesome. And it's so funny because after I did it, everybody's like, oh, that was such a good job. It's like, you know what? But you might not get it because, I had writing on my shirt. And usually you're not supposed to have writing on like your t-shirt when you're on TV. And man, little like September 2011, January of that year, I got my first check for like $400. In May, the following year, I got like 5 checks in the mail. Could not believe it. I got residuals. So it was like, what? I bought me a car, got my Chrysler 2010 Sebring. I put down $2,000. It was like $16,000. Oh man, my credit was bad. That's another thing. I didn't know how bad my credit was. My student loans got me. I didn't know I was deferring payment for all those for at least a year and a half. But, I had got a car. I was getting benefits at work. I was making some money. I was killing. I was making progress at work. They wanted to make me a store manager. I was like, nah, I don't really know if I want to stay here. So from there, I went into, I was training like every day, like fitness, working out. I had a boot camp. I had started a boot camp that I did in North Hollywood Park. I was like, man, I want to train people. And over time, people was like, man, you know what? You should be a fitness trainer. I'm like, for real? He's like, man, you do it every day. You got the body. You got the look. Why not? You play ball. So I'm like, yeah, whatever. And at the time, people like Tony Robbins, Bob Proctor, Les Brown, Murray Morrissey, all these people I looked up to who was self-help gurus, Zig Ziglar, Jim Rohn. I'm studying these guys. And it wasn't until I was listening to Bob Proctor one day and my intuition clicked. And I was like, oh, you know what? I can do a mobile app, a motivation mobile app. No one has that out. Mind you, I'm 24. Like, come on, who are you? But in my mind, I think I made it. Like, come on, I got a nice job. I can do this. So at that time, I said the goal was to quit Abercrombie and Fitch once I finished paying a mobile app off. The mobile app name was Eric Bigger Successful Living. So I paid it off. It's $1,500. Was paying like $400 a month. And then I quit. And once I quit, I jumped right into the one-on-one training. I had the boot camp. I did the one-on-one. And I'm like, oh, man, I'm charging like $50 an hour. I'm like, ooh, baby, like I'm killing it. Like, I got my one-on-one sessions. I'm doing a boot camp. And, man, I hit a wall. I didn't do no invoices. I didn't do no contracts. I didn't know what I really was doing. I was like, it was hard. Like, I didn't know how I was going to make money. The clients started canceling, like, I can't train no more. I can't pay you the money. But yet I got this mobile app nobody knows about, and people from back home in Baltimore downloading, and a few people that support me here. But it's like, who is Eric Bigger? Who are you? Why would we download your app? I am 24. I'm like, look, I got an app. And I'm like, nothing's happening. I don't have no marketing tools or ideas. So that didn't work out. That didn't pan out. That was tough. At the time, I gotta find a way to make money. And so as I moved forward, I hit a wall. I actually went back to Abercrombie as a model. Went back to, at this time I'm 25. Folding shirts, and I'm the model, not the manager. I'm listening to the manager. I once was in that position. So getting paid $8 an hour again, that was tough. And then I still was looking for work. I didn't know what I was gonna do. So I applied for a job on Craigslist. It was a club job. I always wanted to work at a nightclub. It's for a door guy position. Went in the interview. It went great, and then like a week later, like we want you to start New Year's Eve. I'm like, cool. Then from there, it was like I got 2 jobs now. I'm doing the training, and I'm working at the club, working a door guy. Tom was a great friend and mentor of mine, and learned a lot from him. And, and I'm doing it, I'm killing it, and I'm working, and I'm still struggling. At this time, by the way, I didn't say, for 5 years, I had a 1-bedroom with a roommate. So I was struggling. Like I was staying with another guy, alpha male, in 1 bedroom. And, it was humbling, but that's where I was at in life, and that's all I knew, and that's all I did, and it was scary. I mean, at one point at that time, 25, it was the hardest, one of the toughest moments of my life. I didn't know how I was going to eat. And I remember Christmas that year, I think it was 2013, I had $7 to my name. And I actually had a girl from San Francisco come up who wanted to kind of come hang out and kick it. My roommate had brought his whole family in town, 7 people in a 1-bedroom apartment. I got this girl who wanted to come kick it, have a good time, hang out. I don't have no money. I don't know what to tell her. I can't get a hotel. And it was tough, man. And I'll never forget that moment. In that year, too, I remember, like, my roommate, he was booking, like, all these modeling gigs. He was killing it. And he had put some food in the trash can. And I think it was, like, some chicken or something. He didn't eat it all. And I actually grabbed it out of the trash can and started eating. I never told him until like 2 years after the fact, but it was a low point in my life. And, a lot of people don't know that story. And it's tough, but it was real. And it was just one of those things. You'd be like, damn, how did I get here? What did I do wrong? I went to school, I did right, I was educated, I followed directions, I didn't get in trouble. Why am I here? So, you know, mind you, I got now I got the club job. I got a little momentum, you know. I know I'm still training, and it's like, man, I need to make some more money. I start selling water machines, Kangen water. Shouts out to Kangen water, alkaline water machines, selling waters. And then a year within that job, you know, cool. And then like the second year, I was like, you know, I need to make some more money, man. It's not enough. Started doing Uber. I was hustling. I was doing Uber, and then from there, like when I started Uber, like 3 months after that, my second year at the club, I quit. And I took on Uber full time and training, you know, part time. And man, Uber was a blessing. People don't know, you know, I was making $700 to $1,000 a week doing Uber. I was doing numbers. I was putting 5,000 miles on my car every 2 months. And, you know, it was making a way. And at that time, I did that for like 2.5, 3 years. And then me and my roommate, we had to split because it's like, look, bro, we getting older. I'm 28, you 26. We got to leave. We got to get out of here. And so we broke apart. I actually got an apartment. And the funny thing about my apartment is what I realized is that what's for you is for you. So I went to go look for an apartment. I remember it like yesterday. July 16th, I was going out of town back home to Baltimore to see my family for 8 days. I was good from the 16th to the 22nd. And before I left, I had to put up an application in for this nice spot in Miracle Mile. It wasn't nice, but it was like the neighborhood was. The apartment was like kind of like in between. But I was like $1,250 a month, $700 deposit. I'm making almost $1,000 a week. Oh, that's easy to make. I can pay that off. So I get back on the 22nd, 23rd of July. Mind you, my lease is up at my other spot in Koreatown in August. So I get back the 22nd. She's like, I'm sorry, it didn't go through. We can't. And I'm just like, what? I'm so happy when I went home telling my grandmother, my mom, like, look, you know, I got my own apartment, baby. Like, oh, good for you. And it just sucked. It was like I had 8 days to figure it out. So I had a friend come help me find my spot. He's like, man, I think I need to help you. I was like, I guess. And mind you, the way I grew up, I never really wanted to ask for help, because when I asked for help, you know, from certain people like my mom or people that I was close to, I never got it, or they tell me they would do something and wouldn't do it. So I was the type of person where I didn't know how to ask for help. I did everything on my own. I was everything. I was the marketing guy. I was the agent. I was the producer. I did everything. I was overdoing everything because that's all I knew. But anyway, friend came, so it was a spot right next to the spot I didn't get into. Mind you, this spot was fly. Glass door, you got a gym, you got a movie theater in it. I mean, brick wall, wood floor, stainless steel refrigerator. I'm telling my boy, like, I can't afford this. Like, how? He's like, man, I think this is an Eric Bigger spot right here. I'm like, this is dumb. Like, it doesn't make sense. He said, you won't understand it until you get it. Mind you, I'm coming from a broke mentality. I know how to eat off of less. No, that's not, I can't do that. I was paying $600 a month, you know, in a one bedroom, $650. In a one bedroom before, like, how am I gonna pay almost $2,000? That doesn't make sense. And I applied for it, and the lady hit back, and I asked my mom to co-sign. She hit back. She said, you got it. I started crying. I couldn't believe it. And she said, by the way, you didn't need your mom's signature to co-sign. You kind of got pushed through on your own. And I'm like, what? Like, I just started breaking down crying. Like, how is this true? Like, how is this happening? And then I got into my spot, man, and it was beautiful, you know. Still the rent is still crazy. I didn't think I could last, you know, and I'm still in that spot to this day, almost 3 years. But that year, it's funny how you change your location, you change your energy that you're in and the surroundings, how life changes. So 4 or 5 months in that spot, I get a call from a friend who knows a friend who was casting for a show, you know, The Bachelorette. And she was like, would you want to do this? And I'm like, yeah, why not? Went on audition, they loved me, moved me forward, and within a year, you know, my whole life had changed. I got into a new spot, I was on national TV, I traveled to 6 countries, I fell in love for the first time, and I was just like, wow. But if I didn't take that risk to get into that spot, I wouldn't be here right now, talking on this podcast. So the moral to my whole life and my story was that it's all about taking risks, believing in yourself, having faith and just praying. Like, I pray a lot. I might pray 3 to 5 times a day. I might just pray in the car, God, just give me travel mercies. Lead God and direct me. Order my start, stops, and finishes. Give me strength, give me wisdom, give me understanding. Protect the thoughts and the words that's coming out of me. Give me peace. Let me attract the right people at the right time, doing the right things. These are the prayers that I was saying to myself on a consistent basis to this day. Just because at the end of the day, that's the only thing I could lean on, was that intangible part of me, that spirit, that higher self. And I feel like when your inside is solid, nothing on the outside can shake or waver you, because you know who you are and you understand your belief and what you believe in and what you've been through. And to this day right now, prayer is what got me through. And I'm just thankful to say that. Was it easy? No. Was it worth it? Yes. Will it be more challenges? Yes. Do I want to do more? Of course. But I think you got to get in there. You got to get your hands dirty. You're going to experience some pain. You're going to go through some things you don't want to go through. Some people going to disappoint you. You're going to lose some friends. And that's just what it's about, for being successful, for being great, and just getting out of your own way and evolving as a human being. And my whole goal is to be my highest self and to inspire and impact others. And my life hasn't been easy, but I'm glad it wasn't easy, because I'm strong because of it. I've learned a lot from it, and I evolved into a whole different person that I knew I could have been, if I didn't want to be. It was like I have to be this person. I have to be motivated. I have to be strong because of everything I've been through, and I will never give up. And life has been amazing. That's why it is miracle season, because miracles don't come easy, and nothing in my life just came overnight. People say, oh, you're like overnight success. No, I've done so much work on myself. I tell people all the time, the hardest work you're doing in life is on yourself. It doesn't challenge you. It doesn't change you. Your life should be about your breakthroughs. Because trust me, you're going to have your ups. The ups are great, but you learn more from your downs. And that's what Eric Bigger life is about. Learning from the downs, getting over the hurdles, staying prayed up, giving your all, and just being okay that some days you're not going to be your best. But you know what? You get another day and another day. You just got to keep going. So I'm thankful that I'm here. God is great. Chicken is good. You got to love yourself. You got to know yourself. And one thing I will say, you got to believe in yourself. And your faith, you got to have faith. But here's the thing. You want to have faith in the right things, not the wrong things. Because if you have faith in the wrong things, you can turn you to something you don't want to be. So have faith in the right things. Believe in yourself. Have confidence. Don't let someone tell you can't do something. And just get after it, man. Be yourself. Be great. What they say, leap and the net will appear. It's a miracle season, people. Move with the cheese. Eat bigger.
Hi, everyone. We hope you enjoyed this episode of pray.com's Life, Leadership, and Legacy. To stay updated on our latest episode, subscribe to our channel. Please subscribe, leave us a rating, and let us know your favorite episode in the reviews section of iTunes. For more, go to pray.com/podcast. Thanks for listening, and join us next week for another episode of pray.com's Life, Leadership, and Legacy.
Did you know you can get on our show by calling us at 323-521-9791? If this episode impacts your day, we want to know. Call 323-521-9791 and leave us a voicemail with your testimony so we can share it with our guests and listeners around the world.
Hey Max, what's going on, man? You sent me a message earlier today about that podcast to watch, and I just wanted to let you know that I finished it. I love how short it is, being under 30 minutes, but I just want to let you know that I have never really followed Christianity. My parents raised me, in a Christian home. We went to Calvary all the time, but I lost that early on, and I connected with Obed Martinez's story so much that you're right, man. I think this could change my life. I just got done crying, man. I just want to say thank you. I'm a believer now, man. And I've been fighting this for so long, and I can't wait to start this journey, bro. So going to try to get connected with a local church and start, pursuing that life, that path that Obed took, seeing how he could have took the wrong path, and that's kind of where I'm at right now with the decision I have to make, So, hey, I love you so much, Max. Thank you so much for sending that to me. I just messaged it to about 50 other people. So, thanks, man. Have a great rest of your day.